When it comes to car reviews, a new car comes out, everyone reviews it, and then they all forget about it. Nobody ever follows up. No one checks to see how this car does a year later, 5 years later, 20 years later, or in this case today, 27 years later. So today we're taking a look at the 1992 Toyota Corolla DX trim model. Now this DX trim model doesn't come standard with a lot of equipment, but for a 27-year-old car, not a lot of equipment I guess you can expect to be standard. I was informed from the owner that it's a clean title vehicle, no accidents, actually no major accidents, nothing really. So the maintenance hasn't been kept up too well, so the fact that it's even performing at all today, it's really a miracle. As you can see, the paint, for the most part, the paint has lost all of its clear coat. Has absolutely, very minimal clear coat. A lot of very minimal shine, but it could be expected with the age of it and the fact that it's never been in a garage, it's never been well taken care of, anything like that. But regardless, it's still kept pushing along. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior and see how things have aged there. So again, manual windows, manual door locks, manual everything. Manual everything except the transmission. We do have an automatic transmission here. Now the interior, you can start to see, these cloth seats. I mean, the adjustments still work, everything still works. The seat belts, however, are not holding up too well at all. They have absolutely no return. See, none of the gauges actually, when you actually turn on the car at night, none of the gauges actually light up at all. It's very, very dim. The AC doesn't work anymore. I didn't try out the tape recorder to see if it works. I know the radio doesn't play at all, but I'm just curious to see if the tape plays, even though without any sound, if it even plays at all. But you'll start to see the headliner here came down a lot. It is missing. I mean, the interior, aside from of course, being a little dirty in the age, aside from of course the headliner, the interior has held up pretty well. I am actually pretty shocked considering the condition of the vehicle. I'm surprised it's not in a worse shape. I'm surprised it still turns on, it still runs, it's able to drive. But yeah, a little bit cramped back here. It's not like today's modern cars. It is incredibly cramped. Now even the door handles itself, that actually don't work anymore. If you try to actually lock it or unlock it with the key, you're not going to be getting anywhere. So the owner told me to get inside of this vehicle, you actually have to make sure to keep the rear door unlocked and kind of swing around and unlock the driving door and get inside the vehicle. So a couple things, not functioning anymore, but it's expected with the age of the car. We're also going to take it on the road in a little bit and kind of try things out and see how it runs, but for what it is, it's, a couple cracks here and there. For what it is, for it being as old as it is, surprised it's still running. It appears to be missing something here. I didn't ask the actual owner what went in there. I really don't think it was unless it was just a blank switch that's been removed, but yeah. And under the hood we have a 16 valve 4-cylinder engine. I don't know the exact literage of the engine. I don't know the horsepower, so if anybody watching knows the horsepower rating, torque rating, anything like that, make sure to comment that below so I can include that in the description. And it actually is missing the stick that helps the slid. It actually comes included with this nice copper tubing and no extra cost. See the interior. The exterior, under the engine bay, oil everywhere. Surprisingly, I don't actually think it's leaking oil. I actually checked under the car before starting this video and actually wasn't leaking any oil. Which, after seeing the engine bay, is shocking to me. But so there's that. For a 30-year-old car not leaking any oil, it's pretty good. So in just a second, we're actually gonna take this vehicle on the road and give it a try and see how it looks. We're just gonna do a quick tour around, and you guys can tell me how this car is holding up. Overall, I can say I'm pleasantly surprised. Would I want to drive this car again? Probably not. Does the owner enjoy driving it? I mean, probably. He told me, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a, oh, well, there's that. It's kind of a, you know, it's risk, like playing Russian roulette. You never know, you know, when it's gonna be the time when it just gives up. But while you're playing it, it's incredibly thrilling. You get a rush of adrenaline, and definitely I did notice that when I was driving it. I never knew when the brakes were not going to work, or when the engine was going to stop. I would show you the trunk. Fortunately, it doesn't open. Let's go ahead and try this again, see if I can get it to open. Yeah, no, it's gone. So none of the actual outdoor key inserts work. Passenger door doesn't work. Driver door doesn't work. The owner didn't mention if it's either because of vandalism, somebody tried to break into it, or it just gave out over time. My thoughts are probably just, you know, somebody tried to break into the vehicle and were unsuccessful. I really don't think that coincidentally every single keyhole would stop working. Owner told me no reason why they would want to break in there. Didn't have any valuables in it, but you know, it was what it was. But yeah, let's take one more quick look around the interior and exterior before we actually go on the test drive and try the sucker out. Now, I don't know if these are the original tires. Could be. The hubcaps don't look to be very new. But if they are, I'm incredibly shocked, considering that they never flew out. They were never stolen. Nothing ever happened to them. If anybody knows if these are the original hubcaps, that's the original design, you know, make sure to let me know. I'm really curious to find out. If you have any questions as well about my drive with the vehicle and what I thought about it, let me know. I'll also comment below and I'll try to answer you guys' questions. So without further chit chat, let's go ahead and get onto the test drive, and I'll really let you know what I think. So we're behind the wheel of the 92 Toyota Camry, or Toyota Corolla, sorry, DX. So like I mentioned earlier, this is almost 300,000 miles. So I mean, it definitely has been, you know, tried and tested and everything. Now again, for obvious reasons, while I'm driving, I don't actually have a tripod, or I mean, I don't have anything to hold the camera with me today. So again, you know, camera angles are not going to be the best, but you get a chance to see how it sounds and how it rides and stuff, and kind of like a driver's perspective of behind the steering wheel. Now again, this is a 92, so it's probably built in 91, and it's been on the road since 91, and we're coming to the end of 2017. So almost 26, almost 27 years this car has been on the road and accumulated 300,000 miles. Now I'll be honest with you right now, with the brake pedal, it seems kind of like a suggestion. And what I mean by that, you can press the brake, but it doesn't necessarily mean the car wants to stop. I don't know if that's because of the brakes maybe worn out, maybe it needs new brakes, but I mean, the pedal itself, it really doesn't feel, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence, to be honest. Okay, so we're gonna take the sucker on the freeway right now and see how it merges. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's very slow, it's very lightweight, so it doesn't really need a big powerful engine to get up and go. But let's go ahead and start merging now and see if it can keep up. Now, I'll be honest with you, I drove this car already a little while ago on the freeway, and it really does not feel safe at all. everything shakes, everything rattles, the steering wheel's going back and forth. It feels like the rear wheels are not gripping very tight. It just overall, you know, doesn't seem, I don't, so okay, I'm flooring it now and it's taking a while to get the speed. So now the speedometer, you know, has not aged very well at all, not even a little bit. As you see, like the lights barely turn on. It has no tachometer really, or if it does, I can't see it. It's too dark and the lights don't turn on. The speedometer, like, luckily works. Everything else is not functioning at all. Like I said, it's not aged the best. One example, the radio system also doesn't work. So it turns on, but the speakers don't seem to be working at all. I put the volume up, I changed the presets. I don't know if it's a problem with the radio or it's a problem with the speakers, but absolutely no sound is coming out of those speakers, even if you put it all the way up. So I don't know if you guys can, if the sound of the engine is coming through or not, but the transmission unfortunately is having an issue. So what's happening right now, the revs are incredibly high, and if I let go of the gas, it will shift very harshly. However, now actually right now it's not even doing that at all. So earlier when it was giving me this issue, as soon as I let go of the gas, it was able to shift into the higher gear. Right now it's not actually doing that at all. It's just, you know, there's no RPMs, but just by the sound of the engine you can hear that it's having trouble. It should already have shifted to a higher gear. So I mean, it has issues obviously that are expected for almost a 30-year-old car. You know, it really has been through its paces, and you know, kudos to Toyota for building an incredibly solid car. I mean, if you saw the exterior, I mean, it really has gone through a lot. And even though a lot of the interior pieces, you know, are falling apart, you know, but I wouldn't contribute that to like the fit and finish of the car, more so with the care of it. I really think had it been treated a little bit better, you know, the ceiling wouldn't be falling apart. The transmission, I don't know if you know how that would be mechanically, but cosmetically I feel like fit and finish in this vehicle was good enough to where, you know, had it been treating a little bit better, I wouldn't be experiencing the issue that I have. So the headliner is resting on my head. It feels, I guess it likes that position better. But overall, you know, it's a little, I'm doing this one at night, so, you know, you can't really take a look at everything very well. But an example, the AC doesn't work, the heater doesn't work, the fan doesn't work, and if I turn those things on, the vehicle will actually turn off. So yeah, I don't want to do that right now at all. And I'm pressing, I have to press the brake, unfortunately, a couple days in advance. So I honestly, on this freeway, I really feel like I don't belong. All these cars are just flying right by me, and I'm having a lot of trouble trying to keep up. Keep in mind, I'm in the slowest lane, you know, and I'm having trouble following the vehicles in front of me. I might actually have to move out of the freeway right soon, just because I don't want to slow people down, and I don't want to get hit myself. Go ahead and punch it one more time, see what this thing has to go. Now I don't want to go too fast because I'm stepping on the brake right now, and it's not really slowing down. So again, you know, sturdy car. I really feel like it was well built. Seems to kind of you know, aside from the problems, it seems kind of like an indestructible car. I mean, for it to be having as many issues as it's having now, with, you know, the transmission not shifting, I'm surprised the engine hasn't blown out sooner, or that just the transmission hasn't given out. Keep in mind, this 300,000 miles with almost 300,000 miles with the original engine and original transmission. So the owner has let me know that, hey, you know, they haven't changed anything. It's, you know, they haven't actually, you know, they've been honest with me. They haven't actually kept they haven't actually kept up with the oil change, with the maintenance. So kind of explains why, I guess, why the brakes aren't gripping very well. Whoa, I heard they have to slam it there, and it barely slowed down a little bit, man. So let's go ahead and get off the freeway now, and let's just try to avoid an accident as long as possible. Yeah, as you see, you can hear that. I mean, now comfort features, luxury features, I mean, you can't expect much in this older car. There's no audio controls on the steering wheel, no power windows, no power door locks. The side mirrors are actually manual too. You have to, if you could reach around to the side of the car, you can actually adjust them with the little pillars there. But yeah, I mean, this car is really built. Whoa, it's turning off now actually. Let's go ahead and shift it into neutral to avoid that. But yeah, wow, I'm shocked. You know, this, I guess the freeway really proved to be a little bit too much for this car. You know, it was just right about, and I really don't want to get stuck right here in downtown LA, in the middle of like a busy intersection with the car. So we're gonna take things a little bit slow now. Gonna go cruise back to our destination. And okay, so far, you know, doing okay. I mean, everything, if it runs like if it hit everything except the lottery, to be honest. Luckily, there's there's cosmetic issues, but it doesn't seem like it was ever in an accident. So that's one thing. Good thing. Well, actually, sorry, I believe it might have been salvage, actually, to be honest with you. I actually think it wasn't an accident, so it could explain a lot of the issues. I have to double check that, and I'll let you guys know in the comments. But man, if you really if you listen closely, you can start to see it's smoking actually a lot. Oh my god, it's smoking. I can't show you guys because, you know, but I can actually start to smell it inside. That it appears the temperature gauge. I don't know if the temperature gauge doesn't work or what, but you know, it doesn't show that it's hot. But man, is it? So it's actually very unexpected. I wasn't, you know, I'll be honest with you, I drove this car a good 20-30 minutes before this actual video, and I was having no issues at all. And you know, the owner hasn't had, well, actually no, they did mention a couple of issues with the car, but it's actually starting to not take off as fast. It's barely gonna make it to the destination, I feel like. Let's go ahead and post up in this parking lot really quick, and give this car a little bit of a break. You know, we'll take a look at ooh, man, the smell is incredible right now. It smells like burnt oil. All right. So I don't know. It's not, smoke's not. I don't know if it's translating well on the camera, but man, oh, actually, now you can see it there. So let's go ahead and turn the sucker off before we do any more damage. Whew. Let's let it cool off for a little bit. So 26, 27 years later, we shouldn't expect it to have very much of a car. In reality, we don't have much of it, but hey, you know, good enough for it being 30 years old. I'm surprised it even runs at all. So I think that's gonna wrap up the video there. You know, I don't want to do a lot more damage to this vehicle, but hey, you know, 300,000 miles later, 30 years later almost, still kicking, still running.